welcome back to Just Jamming. My name is Brock. Nice to see you again. Today we are going to be talking about mixing and mashing major and minor pentatonic, which I kind of did on my first video in this series, but I figured I'd give more of a reference, not just from like a straight blues perspective, because I feel like that one's pretty clear, especially if you listen to like any blues songs. But in a pop context, it's pretty cool to start off major, and then when you hit. So we'll go over the kind of the chord progression and like some things to practice of your fellow guitar players out there. So the first thing is the progression is just C to G minor 7 to F major to F minor 7. So that chord progression and like the way I've been just, I got that from like one of John Mayer's Instagram lives. He was playing that. So he was kind of like comping to himself, and I think this is one of the best ways to practice like playing and just guitar in general, is just playing with yourself and not the weird way, but in the way of music where you're trying to keep rhythm with chord progression, and then in between that chord progression you're playing either a melody, phrase, or just like a motif or anything, and trying to keep that constant. Especially for improvising, I feel like that's a really good way to get better at improvising, because I kind of repeat this before, but it not only teaches you space because you're focused on like playing the chords and keeping in time, but also it allows you to just keep your hands busy without just playing a billion notes per second, which I think is a tough part about improv. Is like you just want to like play as many notes as possible, but restraining from that is I feel like a lot of the difference between great solos and not. It's like space. There's plenty of musicians who have talked about space and importance of it. So yeah, I feel like that's just a great way to like practice for yourself. But in terms of this chord progression, it's pretty simple. Like you can treat this 5 minor like just a normal 5 chord. I mean, you can color it with that minor third if you want inside of your playing, but definitely the crux of the chord progression comes from this F to F minor, which is a pretty common 4 to 4 minor like turn to the 1. That's a pretty common chord progression. So I think it's not only a nice chord progression to hear, but it's very pop chord progression, so you'll hear it a lot in songs, and it's a good frame of reference to practice again the major and minor pentatonic together, but not in a blues context. So yeah, the way I would practice this also is to really hone in your triads. So knowing where C is all over the neck, knowing where G minor is all over the neck, and then F, right? Because in that way you can kind of go up and down the pentatonic boxes. So if you want to stay in like the C major pentatonic or the box 1 to box 2 or whatever, I feel like you can play all the chords inside, right? Inside basically where you can reach. So I think that's a really good way to practice. So like maybe just stay in one box. So even then I kind of out of habit played another pentatonic, which is the C minor pentatonic. You just do box 1, then box 5, So that's like A minor, and then just treat that box right here at C minor, and then go down. And conveniently, this is really close to box 1 of A minor. So this is how a lot of people get the major and minor sound, right? Is like just overlapping the box of the relative minor. So if you don't know what that means, okay, so the relative minor of C is A. So if I'm playing an A minor pentatonic, what is like the closest pentatonic box? And that would be of now C minor. So that would be box 5. There's a lot of, again, great videos on YouTube to check out, but I think like this idea of just, oh wait, I can have a minor sound and a major sound in pretty much the same locations that I'm putting my fingers is honestly like one of the best like breakthroughs I've had on guitar itself, just because you can go from like that right there is like I moved my fingers 1 fret, but I was able to access the C minor pentatonic. So again, I would just take like the chord progression and play in like one area. So another way to do this is if you're here in the B.B. King box, right? Which John Mayer, of course, does a lot. And just like a really convenient place to play guitar. Because you get, God, I don't know what the boxes are, but what you would normally play on a 5, which is your C minor pentatonic. Or, sorry. What you normally play on the 5. Just look up the B.B. King box if you don't know already. But yeah, you can stay here and just practice the B.B. King box. But I really think this is a great like just practice routine. I haven't actually played this chord progression in a while, but I used to play this all the time just to like get used to how the pentatonic from major to minor overlap with each other. I just think it's a crucial skill, and again, if you're like, how do people get that like weird sound? Because it's not straight diatonic. Like a lot of guitar players like Clapton and of course Mayer and B.B. King and stuff, right? They like go between major and minor. So I would say this is a great one to check out. And again, if you like videos, again, let me know. These are kind of how I do everything. I just pick some random topic. Sometimes it's like philosophy. Sometimes it's just like, hey, if you're a guitar player, like this is a sick chord progression to practice over. And then yeah, let me know if you find it useful or not. But yeah, that's it. Thank you. See you next time.